I had already started my healing process from going backwards. I had to go back to my childhood. I had to go back because I don't want to project these things onto my children. And my children, it's about breaking generational curses for me right now. I want to always create a space where my children feel comfortable communicating with me. So I went back to heal myself and my inner child for my children.
I think Kevin hits on a brilliant point, man. Is that a lot of the things that we learn come from our childhood and have been ingrained in us from either our parents, either the culture that we come from, or either our peers. And these are cultural norms that are unhealthy. You know, we've lived with these things for so long, we begin to think that they're normal. We've lived with this trauma so long, we think that trauma is acceptable. And we have no idea that there is a life outside of this chaos. A life outside of this anxiety. A life outside of this depression. What Kevin is talking about is going back to the root issue and uncovering the reasons why you function the way you function. And that's a tough thing to do, because that means you have to address some things you might not be ready to address. And you might get some truths that hurt, because some of the people who have indoctrinated you, some of the people who have hurt you the most are your family members. They're still alive. They have put certain things inside of you that you've been living with, and they've been costing you your happiness. They've been costing you your freedom. They've been costing you the life that you say that you want to live. So what Kevin is talking about is taking back control, taking it back the power from this illogical way of living. Yeah.
I want my children to always, that's like toxic masculinity. If my daughter fall down, get up, you all right? No, that's when it's time for me to exhibit femininity, like my feminine side, and nurture her. Come on, baby, it's all right. That's when it's time for me to be a nurturer. Now, if you violate her, then now it's time for me to be a monster. It takes balance. You know what I'm saying? That's why when I hear like people talk about this, like the feminist movement and this alpha male bullshit, that's bullshit. It's like we're not supposed to be competing with each other. We supposed to be, it's balance. Like my woman supposed to balance me out and I'm supposed to balance her out. It's about balance.
He hits on something else. And he talks about this notion that we see a lot on social media, where you have like the manosphere, and then you have like this feminine movement of independence, where it draws a line in the sand that says that women should operate this way and men should operate this way. It says that there is a certain expectation. In order to be considered a man, you have to meet these qualities. And the reason why you are not living up or getting the dreams or getting the girls or getting to the money, because you aren't living this way as a man. And it's saying, as a woman, the reason why you aren't having the success in your life and the reason why you are unhappy is because you're not living this way as a woman. And what he's saying is, it's not real. Because with every yin, there is a yang. If there's a up, there's a down. As people, we are not that dualistic. There is just no black and white when it comes to a person. There is just no masculinity without femininity. In order to be a holistic person, you must be able to balance both of those things. There are times, yes, when you need to be able to step up and conquer some things as a man, but there are also some times when you must be able to be gentle and connect with the root of your emotional well-being and intelligence that you have. One of the issues that you see in our society right now is men don't know how to express themselves. They say that all the time. They say, I just wish my husband, I just wish my boyfriend would express himself. And we know that if men do express themselves, the emotion that we are most comfortable with expressing ourselves in is anger and violence. Because we have been indoctrinated by the society to say that this is the only allowable emotion that you can operate in. It says that as a man, you actually lose self-worth. You actually lose status if you show feelings that do not meet this criteria. Anger, frustration, violence, dominance, aggression, assertiveness. How hard is that? How hard is that? The burden that it caused, the heaviness to know that there's only a certain amount of emotions that people will accept out of me. But I feel an array of different things. It's like trying to draw a rainbow with only 2 color pencils. You know that there should be so many things you should be able to color in this, but I only have access to 2. And you wonder why we are in the situation that we in now. We demonize men who show their vulnerableness. Sometimes women use that vulnerableness against them. Sometimes men can't even recognize that they should be checking in on their brother or checking in on their fathers, checking in on their uncles and seeing how their mental health really is. And you wonder when somebody is, it's heavy.
The head executioner. Yeah. I was just, I was fulfilling my title. Mm-hmm. I'm a general, so I'm on the front line with all of my soldados. My soldiers. I'm a general, so I'm always on the front line as a general. But as a chief, I gotta be able to look at each one of my soldiers and see what they need, whether it be psychologically, whether it be helping them with emotional intelligence to navigate their emotions, whether it be to show them how to nurture themselves, whether it be to show them how to exhibit their confidence and find that confidence in themselves. I got to be able to look at whatever need that it is. And it's beautiful that God allowed me to go through all of these things because I'm a greater blessing.
The difference between a general and a chief. The difference between a general and a chief. A general is a commander of an army. A chief is a leader of a nation. And when you can only operate in the space of being a general, that means you only have certain tools at your disposal. That means that your mindset can only function in one way, and that's in war. And that's in aggression. That's in causing harm. That's in being on the offense or on the defense. And you see a lot of men nowadays, especially in our community, they're programmed to act a certain way that you have to ask them, like, yo, are you all right? Like, you can just drop your guard. And he like, nah, you never gonna catch me lacking. Partly because that's of the neighborhoods and the communities that we live in are not conducive for them to even be able to see the other side of life. Because the demands of that area are so dangerous, or life and death is that close that you have to operate as a general But how limited is a person? How limited is a man or a woman when they can only be sufficient at war? And when you look at being a chief, a leader of a nation, that means that you have been given the task of developing, growing other people, whether that be financially, spiritually, scholarly, health and wellness. There are so many areas you must be able to pour in that you just can only be in this general mindset. You can only be focused on the what ifs or how to make sure that you're protected at all times. When you are moving as a chief, you have to be able to meet your community where they are at and give them the encouragement, give them the necessary education to help them develop as healthy human beings. Whether that's teaching somebody about their spirituality, guiding a young man or young woman through the hardships of developing their own identity, or teaching your community about economics, credit scores, and things of that nature. When you are a chief, you are multidimensional. There are many facets you can operate in. Sad thing is, a lot of people only get stuck being generals their whole life and don't even get to live up to their fullest potential and realize the capabilities that God has put inside of them.
I embrace the things that happened to me in my past with a sense of positivity. I replace that negative emotion attached to it with a positive emotion, and I'm grateful for everything that happened because I'm a greater blessing to the world. I mean so much more to the world now. Don't nobody walk up to no other, with all due respect, like no disrespect to these other rappers. I swear to God, I'm not. Don't nobody walk up to them and tell them, you changed my life, right, and show them slices where they tried to kill themselves and commit suicide and say, you stopped me from committing suicide. I was vulnerable. I peeled all the layers back. I let you feel a bullet hole in my head and told you I put it there. I'm the one who said that I disconnected my Instagram in 2020 and tried to take my own life. I'm the one who said these things so other people understand it's okay to feel like this.
When you are your authentic self, when you are being genuine, your genuineness can help lead somebody out of the darkness. They say that when God blesses somebody, he usually blesses you through another person. And when you are being authentic, God can use your story. God can use your struggle. God can use your success to help change your community, because now you become a role model and people start to understand, hey, if this person can get through it, then there is hope for me. Yeah. There is something about being true to who you are. There is something about taking off those false identities, removing those personas, being comfortable in who you are. That is healthy for not only your spirit, but healthy for the spirit of your people.